Hey, Lois, if I was going to kill myself, do I slit my wrists this way or this way?
Sideways for attention, long way for results.
Depression. Depression is on the rise. Whether you realize that Lizzo isn't an effective tool for weight loss,
What's this? It's a prescription for Lizzo. Rich people get Ozempic, poor people get body positivity.
or you recently found out that Hustlers University isn't an Ivy League institution,
I get called Morpheus a lot. I get called Morpheus all the time in my DMs because I'm trying to wake people up. If the Matrix is real and you are watching this video, I am Morpheus. I am the guy.
or maybe, just mainly, you subscribe to someone's OnlyFans, or you watch the recent reboot of Star Wars.
How corporate greed and consumerism once again destroyed the filmmaking.
There are a lot of reasons to be depressed, but I'm not depressed, and I used to be depressed. So let's find out how psilocybin helped me to stop being depressed. In order to do that, I'm gonna have to take you on a journey. Starting with, what did the experience of depression feel like? And then moving to, why was I depressed? And lastly, how psilocybin helped me heal my depression. Make sure to stay to the end, guys, as the way psilocybin helped me is probably not what you think. Starting off with depression. What was the experience of depression like for me? In order to better answer that question, I decided to enlist the help of AI. The large language models have been trained on a data set of human speech. So, if anyone knows what depression is like, it's probably an AI. It learned from us. I'm gonna ask GPT-4 what it thinks depression is like with some creative prompts, and then I'm gonna compare and contrast its experience of depression to my experience of depression. Let's find out what I have in common with an AI, guys. So, let's go. What is depression like in the eyes of GPT? Imagine waking up every morning with a heavy blanket made of existential dread into your chest. It's like you're buried under the suffocating weight that no amount of coffee or deep breathing can shake off. It's not even a nice, cozy blanket either. More like one of those scratchy, itchy ones that your least favorite relative gave you. Except this one is laced with anxiety and self-loathing. So starting up straight up there, guys, I can relate to this. I was on Wellbutrin and then eventually on Brentalex, and depression really does feel like a weighted blanket. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd resent the fact that I woke up in the morning, which is probably not a great morning routine. Every time I'd wake up, I'd wonder if this was hell and maybe I was already dead and reliving the same experience again and again and again.
Too bad that didn't kill.
That blanket took some time to be removed and a lot of work. So thus far, AI is pretty much on point. You try to do something productive, but your brain is like, nah, let's not. Let's instead take a deep dive into every awkward thing you've ever said since the time you were a kid. You know, just for fun. It's like your mind is a computer that's constantly buffering. Instead of helpful updates, it keeps installing more self-doubt and regret. You're left wondering if you've ever made a good decision in your life. But then you get distracted by the existential crisis in the corner. So you decide to leave that for later. Again, AI pretty much hits the nail on the head. What we got to think of is depression does affect how you think and how you process information. It affects your cognitive ability in general. When you're depressed, it's hard to come up with ideas, be creative, or even get stuff done. You constantly have this fogginess in everything that you do, every breath you take, or every word that comes out of your mouth. It's a constant state of depression. That's why it's called depression, guys. And it's a major negative. It's like having a virus, probably a few viruses, all at once running, definitely decreasing overall power. I find it fascinating that AI itself actually compared the human mind to a computer and constantly buffering. That's some well thought out logic right there. Okay, let's move on. What's the next aspect of depression? Everyone else seems to be out there living their best life, Instagramming their perfect breakfast and posting inspirational quotes, while you're stuck in the endless loop of what's the point and should I really do the dishes? But nah, it's like being in a slow motion race where everyone else is sprinting and you're just trying to figure out how to tie your shoes. A bit dramatic, let's be real. If you're depressed, you're probably not taking part in any form of racing or sprinting. But I can relate once again. Goddamn AI, not bad. Maybe they're gonna include it in the next DSM. Overall, yeah, Instagram and social media in general is gonna make you depressed. You're gonna compare yourself to other people and people having a lot more fun than you, who have a lot more money and success, and naturally you're gonna be like, hey, why don't I have fun? Why don't I have money? Why isn't my life amazing? I deserve blah blah blah. I think I should feel good, blah blah blah. And as you keep scrolling and infuse yourself with more and more brain rot, as they say, eventually your entire life is just a comparison to all the things that you don't have. Instead of thinking of your life in terms of the things that you're grateful for and the things that you already have that probably other people would kill for, you constantly weigh yourself as I lack this, I lack that. And because of that, you never experience gratitude, and thus without gratitude, you're not going to feel good. I fully relate to this. When I was an undergraduate and a student, it was in the boom of the social media age. It was very easy to open up your YouTube feed and see some guy on a yacht with a bunch of supermodels or some fancy gold-plated car which a Saudi prince drives with his pet tiger, and you out there as a broke-ass student thinking to yourself, well, fuck. I can't even afford food most of the time, but here's some guy who has enough money to gold plate his Lamborghini. Let that sink in, guys. When you have so much money that you need to gold plate your car to show people that you have so much money, that's a statement. Is it a good statement? Probably not. I spent a lot of my undergraduate time comparing myself to the peers in my class who had more than I did. Why did I do that? Stupid. Not aware. Nothing, guys. I don't really have a good excuse, but I think we all are victim to comparison, and I think there's a quote that says comparison is the thief of joy. Probably is. And yeah, once again, AI, like spot on, 100% agree. Social media is going to make you more depressed. It's dark. It's lonely. But hey, at least you've perfected the art of laying in bed and pretending the ceiling is the most fascinating thing in the world. You've stared at it so long, you've probably memorized every crack, and you've convinced yourself that it's almost like watching clouds drift by. Except these clouds are made of crushing despair. But who's counting? Yeah, pretty much 100% again, guys. If you've ever been depressed, you will spend an infeasible amount of time lying in your bed staring at your ceiling, hoping for things to get better. But they don't get better. Without action, nothing's gonna change. So you're gonna stay depressed indefinitely, and you're gonna stare at that ceiling, wondering, maybe, hoping for something to improve. But it doesn't improve, because that's real life. Things just don't magically get better with manifestation. Somehow, despite all of this, you keep going. Maybe because you've gotten used to the heaviness, or maybe because deep down there's a tiny part of you that still hopes for a day when that blanket gets a little lighter, when your uninvited guest finally packs up and leaves. Until then, you'll keep staring at the ceiling, perfecting the art of existing through the absurdity of it all. It's a very impressive piece of writing, guys. Like, that hits home. Yeah, what drives the world to survive? Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning often mention its reason, having a reason to live, to push on, to survive on this planet, something bigger than yourself, which ultimately I will discuss further on in the video. Overall, AI does a pretty good job of describing what the experience of depression is. I'd like to add in though, you have a bad appetite, you eat poorly, you're not hungry, and when you do eat, it's usually bad food choices. How are you going to eat healthy if you can't even function? What else? You have poor intersocial relationships, because if you're not already functional and to some extent an adult and happy or able to regulate your own emotions intelligently, well, you're going to have a bad time dating, and you're not going to be able to love truly or fully or even experience this wonderful life for what it offers us all. I know this is a serious video, but there is some humor to be found in the darkest dread of human nature. So, what else can I add in through the AI? Depression affects your sleep quality. You always wake up feeling tired. You never feel rested. It's a constant state of, oh, this is like the worst. It also infects probably infects you too. It also affects your motivation. As the AI mentioned, it affects your outlook in general. Now, this is my thoughts on depression. Depression is like wearing a lens over reality. It's not a nice lens. It's gray, dark, and depressing. It doesn't matter what you experience, you see it through this lens that bums you out. #depression. And because of that, you're not present, you don't appreciate stuff, and you're not grateful. And these critical aspects really hinder your ability to enjoy the experience of human life. So we've covered more or less what depression is like, and quite frankly, you could probably go on for an hour on the deeper experience of depression, but that's pretty depressing, right? So let's talk about why was I specifically depressed. I was a young guy. I mean, I consider myself still young, and I, bought into the model. I bought into the system. Go to university, get a degree, then you'll have a successful job, then you can get your house, you get married, you get your kids. Thankfully, I haven't done the rest of those things as yet, if one has an expensive piece of paper, one is now capable of earning money. And as most of you who use the internet might now realize, there's a lot of people with very expensive pieces of paper who unfortunately don't have jobs. Why is that? The world has changed, there's numerous problems, blah blah blah. If we get down to the crux of the matter, I took a life path that wasn't really my own, and I accepted it. And I think half of that depression would stem from med school being stressful, anxiety-inducing, and depression-inducing. We had a 65% pass mark, and I did attend a prestigious institution. And don't get me wrong, guys, if you have a doctor who's operating on you in a theater, you'd want your entire organ repaired. You wouldn't want someone who just learned 51% of the heart anatomy, if you get what I'm saying. That's going to end badly for you.
I now declare this hair transplant officially over.
Hey, he's back.
You look great, Quagmire. Oh my God, one of my patients on 2 has been shot.
So I get why they did it, but it puts a lot of stress on you. So let's actually think of it as superficial to deeper levels. The superficial levels of depression is, I'm studying something I don't like that makes me miserable, and I don't like doing it, that further makes me more miserable. Okay, great. You're in the wrong field. Wonderful. You're still stuck in it though. That's not going to change. So what else on the superficial level that directly contributes to depression? Diet. Guys, the system around you is designed against you. Food is infused with preservatives that make your brain light up like a candle. Junk food is everywhere. You know what it is. There's the Cokes, there's the McDonald's, and when you're a student, it's pretty easy to just get some takeaway and eat it, have inferior nutrition, unhealthy fats, and kill your hormonal levels, and basically feel like shit. And you know what you do when you feel like shit? You buy things that temporarily make you feel better. Do you know what fast food does? It makes you feel better temporarily. So you eat poorly, you sleep poorly, which causes you to make more poor choices, and then a cycle forms. So poor diet, poor nutrition, not going to gym. At this point in my life, I didn't take fitness seriously. I didn't think it mattered to exercise. Exercise was a waste of time. How little did I know, and how much has changed since then. Combine poor exercise with the above mentioned facts, and then a lack of meditation, a lack of journaling, a lack of introspection, and then combine it with a hedonistic student life. You go out drinking, you meet people, you waste time, you end up in a pile of your own vomit. I distinctly remember passing out in my shower, which thankfully I made it to, in a pile of my own vomit, which sucked. And I thought I'd make it better, so I opened the shower, the button, like I was passed out, but I stretched my arm out and I opened the valve of the shower. And guess what? The water came down, and I thought that would wash the vomit pool away. Instead, it caused the vomit to bounce upwards into my face and up my nostrils. And I had eaten some chicken before this. partially digested chicken smattered across my face. It wasn't a great time, guys, not gonna lie. That was a low point in my life, being in a pool of my own vomit mixed with wine. Wine does not taste nice coming back up. And I lay there looking up at the shower head wondering, I fucked up bad. And this was my life. I was a living degenerate. And guess what? I went on antidepressants. Well, Butin initially. What did antidepressants do? And I'm going to preface this by saying that if your doctor suggests you take medication like antidepressants, you should listen to him. He's your doctor. Listen to your doctor, guys. This is merely my experience. Your results may differ. My experience of antidepressants was not great in the sense that what they did was numb. They numbed me. I felt nothing. I didn't feel elation, neither did I feel depressed. It was like a zombie or an NPC just going through life, floating about, and completely not self-aware. But the antidepressants did help in the sense it allowed me to function. Without them, I wouldn't have had the fortitude of a zombie. If you've ever watched The Walking Dead, you know those things are hard to kill. I wouldn't have had that fortitude, and without the fortitude, I wouldn't have been able to survive, the degree, to survive medicine, to survive the challenge, the hero's journey. So it did help me there, but it didn't cure my depression. It was like a band-aid on the problem. So we've started at the superficial, we've gone slightly deeper: poor habits, poor choices, lack of self-awareness practices, lack of mindfulness, lack of all the healthy shit that you guys see touted on all the social media platforms that the influencers put up. 5 tips to be healthy, 3 tips to have good mental health. It's all the same, guys. We know what's good for us, but most of the time we don't do it because the things that are good for us require hard work, and hard work is effort. And quite frankly, if you're feeling depressed, you don't want to work, you don't want to do anything, which means you're unlikely to change your state of depression. And I spent a wonderful 6 years, more or less, being in that state of depression. And it only really changed later on, but this was still before psilocybin. What actually changed was I joined the gym, guys. When I joined the gym, that changed my sleeping patterns. That changed who I hung out with. That changed my diet. Something as simple as working out every day changes so much in your life because it builds a bedrock habit that everything starts to, develop around. It's like the Monopoly board. The gym is owning 3 of the same color. Now you can put down the hotels. Once you join the gym, you're going to end up sleeping earlier and you're going to have better quality sleep. And because you're in the gym, you're going to research diet and nutrition. What do I need to eat to get yoked? How do I get jacked? Everyone wants to be Giga Chad, Thundercock, blah, 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 and slay. And that research is going to lead you to discover the power of protein and healthy fats and things that ironically they don't really teach you in medicine. In the greatest irony of all, guys, they don't really focus our course on nutrition and health and wellness. Our degree is highly based on pharmaceuticals to cure life's problems that are a byproduct of a system that's designed to oppress you in every imaginable way of the word. So yeah, I joined the gym. I'd go to bed earlier. I wouldn't go out partying. I wouldn't go out drinking. Because you know what? I had to hit the gym the next day. I needed rest. And the moment I got those inkling of newbie gains, it was life-changing in the sense that I finally didn't feel like I looked like one of those chronic illness patients dying of malnutrition. You've seen the ads, guys. They zoom in, on a hut in Africa. And you see someone standing over there and they're like, donate, blah, blah, blah. That was me before the gym. And then after the gym, I'd still appreciate a donation. But the point is, it shifted how I spent my time and it built healthy habits. That singular action led to me doing many other good things. I started meditating. I started journaling. I started the hero's journey as per se. As young men, video games and internet are highly addictive. They're designed to trap your mind. And it doesn't matter, I guess, even if you're a woman, you could still fall victim to these ploys that are out there. And I did fall victim to them. But because I was in the gym, my mind started to heal. It started to be healthier. And when it was healthier, it allowed me to make better choices. And better choices are like a ripple in a pond. As the ripple expands, things start to get better. And that's definitely what happened. Good sleep, better choices, better hormonal health. Eventually, you turn away from the junk food. You don't order the pizza and the Coke. You make some rice and some meat.
But you'd rather kill yourself than lose your gains. That's why it's called a diet. Quitting's out of the question. But lucky for you, no one has to die here. Except for millions of chickens, of course.
You drink more water. You don't drink fizzy beverages. You avoid preservatives. You avoid chips. You avoid chocolate. You start to eat healthy, which influences your mental space. At this point, I was the least depressed that I had ever been, but I was still depressed in the sense that I knew I wasn't feeling how I was supposed to feel. So there was still some work that needed to be done. And when I finished my degree, I had the time to sit, think, eat, reflect, go to gym some more, and develop really good practices. And I had free time and time to myself and my mental space. So by the time I encountered psilocybin recreationally even, I was already in a much better place. And when I started to use it in a therapeutic sense, well, yeah, there's part 3 of the video, guys. How psilocybin healed my depression. How did it do that? Well, I didn't just take the magic mushrooms and then boom, I stopped being depressed. I was magical, there's rainbows everywhere, and every waking moment I felt amazing, filled with hypomania, like those Wall Street guys who snort the stuff, as we say. I don't want to get banned. And yeah, that's not what happened. Instead, through numerous trips and numerous psychedelic experiences, I started to examine my mind in a deep kind of way. I explored it as one would a map of the cosmos. I traveled to different regions of my thoughts, my emotions, my feelings, and I started to be curious with them all. I started to ask questions like, why am I depressed? What makes me depressed? Why do I feel empty? Why do I feel like I'm on this planet and none of this is real? Like this is all a simulation and nothing matters. Why did I experience such high levels of nihilism? I shared the Rick Sanchez belief of reality from Rick and Morty. And that's a pretty dark view to have, guys. Like, life is short. Do you really want to spend it thinking all of this means nothing and it is for nothing?
Listen, Morty, I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades.
I couldn't overcome the idea that, I couldn't believe in God because I didn't have evidence. I couldn't believe that the antidepressants were going to cure my depression. I couldn't even believe in myself. There was like a void. That's what I came to realize with psilocybin, was there was something that was missing. The reason I wasn't happy was, yes, halfway bad lifestyle, bad choices, bad nutrition, bad sleep, hedonistic life, addictions and shit like that. You guys know how it is. But the crux of the matter, like the chicken before the egg, or the egg before the chicken, was not having a purpose prevented me from making better choices. You see, guys, when you have a purpose, when you have a reason to wake up in the morning, when you wake up with a purpose, when you wake up with a drive, when you have a mission, something that's bigger than you, something that you know that only you can accomplish on this planet, and it is your destiny to get that task done, you will not be depressed. I believe, and this is just as my personal experience, that a lot of the sources of depression in life are lacking purpose, combined with obviously a system that's designed to entrap you, enslave you, and make you an NPC. But the other half of it is internal. It's not having faith. It's not having the divine, a God, something to believe in that's bigger than you, something that makes the mortal experience make sense. You see, if you take away faith, if you take away concepts of the divine, the infinite, the universe being bigger than you, then you're left in this narcissistic small human being mindset of, I am chasing the next dopamine hit. When I get my dopamine hit, then I will be happy. When I buy that car, then I will be happy. When I eat that burger, then I will be happy. The society around us is programmed to ensure that we are fully aware of people who have more than us. So thus, we believe that if we have those things, then we will be happier. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, it's stupid to think that you can live in a hut and just be content forever with no money if you live in the modern world and you live in a capitalistic society. You do need some finance, and realistically, you'd rather cry in a Bugatti than, a box, which is quite a dramatic example. But you get my point. So no, I don't think money is the enemy, or even the pursuit of money. I think the true problem, the true source of my depression, was lacking a purpose in my life. How was I going to be happy if I wasn't on a path, if I wasn't on a journey, if I wasn't doing something that meant something? When you have purpose in your life, purpose is the true antidepressant. The psilocybin shifted my focus so greatly into the internal world of asking myself, why am I alive? What am I here to accomplish on this planet? Psilocybin made me ask the right questions. Sure, I am depressed, but why am I depressed? What is the source of my depression? Where does it stem from? It stemmed from a lack of purpose. My depression was a byproduct of not having a reason to be alive. How are you going to be happy if you're not working on your purpose? If you don't have an ambition, a drive, something that makes you wake up in the morning and count your blessings that you get to work on your mission. And I more or less discovered my purpose in this life. The mushrooms, they have a message of healing and the divine. They have a message of prosperity and wholeness, happiness and contentment. They allow you to change the way you think, feel, and ultimately find meaning in yourself and your purpose on this planet. And if that mission, and the words of the mushrooms in healing, gets me a Lamborghini, I'm not going to turn it down, guys. I'm not the monk who gave away his Ferrari. I'm probably going to be the monk who buys the Ferrari. But on a deeper level, I know it doesn't matter. I know the nature of reality. It doesn't mean that these material possessions mean anything, right? Everything you buy and you own, it's just going to disappear one day when the lights go off and you go into the spirit realm, the afterlife, heaven, hell, whichever religion espouses you. You know you don't take anything with you. You know what you do take with you though? Your experiences, your memories, cherished moments with loved ones, family, connectedness, your pet as you watched it grow up. Maybe you have kids. All of these human experiences are what you truly value, not what the capitalists tell you to value. Not the buildings, not the fancy jewelry, not the clothing. None of these things are going to matter when your journey comes to its end. But getting back, psilocybin put me onto the journey of self-discovery, the hero's journey. A friend of mine first told me about them, and they really helped her fix many of her problems. So I had a pretty open mind going in, but I didn't really know the full extent of, the therapeutic benefits of the mushrooms. Like, you can actually use them to find God. You can find the divine. And when you experience the divine, nothing on this mortal plane will ever compare again, guys. Like, let's be real. When you felt God, or whatever you want to call it, when you felt the universe, when you felt the infinite, when you felt that connection to the source of everything, the source, the start, the end, the in-between, it changes you. It changes your perspective on life, on time, on suffering, on meaning, on purpose. You start to think of your life as this valuable asset. You start to see time as your most valuable resource, because guys, time is your most precious resource. Money is infinite. Money can be made and printed at free will. But do you know what's not infinite? Time. You have finite time. Every day you wake up in the morning and the clock starts ticking, and when you go to bed at night, it continues ticking. As a famous rapper once said, and I'm probably going to butcher this quote, life is not a dress rehearsal. The camera is always ticking. Or on, something like that. But the point is, time is your most valuable commodity, right? And depression wastes your time. So ultimately, being depressed is wasting your most precious resource. So do you want to not be depressed? How do you not get depressed? Well, that's where the psilocybin kicks in. I'm not saying you should use it or shouldn't use it. I'm just telling you my experience. I used it to examine the way I thought about this life. And in it, I found the divine. I found meaning and I found a purpose. And that purpose is the reason why I stopped being depressed. That purpose is the reason why I am not on antidepressants and I feel good most of the time. The truth is, you're not supposed to feel good all the time. Life is a roller coaster. Sometimes you're gonna be happy and sometimes you're gonna be sad. It is what it is, guys. There's no escaping the cycle of suffering on this plane, at least. But overall, you should have a positive experience and you can make it a positive experience. If you use psychedelics with intention and mindfulness and awareness, you can achieve incredible things. Psilocybin will rewire your brain. It will change how you approach the smallest of details, from how you respond to situations to how you wake up in the morning and you are either grateful for having another day on this planet or ungrateful and cursing that you're alive and depressed. If you use them right, the mushrooms will guide you on a path of fulfillment and happiness. And I'm going to build on that. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the divine, the infinite, God, and my relationship with that in relation to psychedelics. Because psychedelics help me find meaning. Psychedelics help me find purpose. They help me have a mission, a reason to be alive. And I think that's something that everyone can benefit from, is finding themselves. It's finding the core of their being and building their lives in alignment. So, if I had to summarize, how did psilocybin help me fix my depression? Psilocybin helped me find the divine, and finding the divine helped me find meaning and purpose, and finding meaning and purpose helped reduce and eventually ameliorate what would be called depression. Emotional states come and go, and this is most pertinent in the psychedelic space. When you are in the third-person view of the world, you become very aware of the fact that you are not this body, you are not the mind. These are transitory emotional states, depression, anxiety, and even happiness. They are states of that which is observed. They are something that you experience and then it's gone. It changes, just like your human life. Tick-tock, tick-tock. You're moving towards your death. Do you want to spend the remaining time that you have on this planet being depressed? I'm gonna say the answer to that question is no. So, psilocybin, it'll help you find purpose, or at least it helped me find purpose. It'll help you find meaning. It'll help you build a relationship with the divine. And when you have a relationship with the divine, you have support in place against depression. And maybe you don't experience depression again. Maybe you don't need antidepressants again. I'm off that shit, guys, and I feel fucking amazing. Most of the time, at least. Though I do live a healthy life. Oh, I wake up, I go to gym, I stretch and do all of this shit. You know what it's like. So, if this video has been of value to you, I'd appreciate a subscribe, a like, and a share. But I'm gonna do more than that, guys. I'm gonna tell you why you should subscribe to my channel. Do you like being high? That's a silly question. You're watching a channel called Cosmic Buddha MD. We both know you like being high. That's a fact. Do you lie in bed wondering the nature of reality? Is this a simulation? Are we inside an intelligent machine? Is consciousness aware of us? Are we aware of consciousness? What is the meaning of this human journey? Do you critically reflect on the message? Do you find yourself separated in social situations because the fakeness and mundanity of human life gets to you? You wonder if everyone around you at times is just switched off. Do you stare at your computer screen, at the pixels, at the stranger on the internet, and wonder, do they have your best interests at heart? Do you question the government and think to yourself, hey, do these guys really want what's best for me? Do you look at dietary guidelines and actually examine them holistically? Do you have an open mind? Are you on your hero's journey? Are you seeking a purpose? Are you seeking a mission? Do you like psilocybin? Do you want to use psilocybin to fix your mind? Are you curious about everything? Do you approach life with curiosity? Do you want a community of like-minded people? Do you spend a lot of time in critical thought or in magic mushroom land? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then You know what to do, guys. Hit that subscribe button and make sure to like and share with other like-minded people. More content on the way as I regain my lost fucks. Stay tuned, which I don't actually like saying. Stay tuned sounds very AI-like. I don't know if you guys noticed, but AI always ends things with stay tuned. I don't have a script in front of me. This video is all free form, and I'm not going to end it with stay tuned. Psilocybin out.